Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Alex Moyle here, and this is the third episode of the Business Development Culture Show. And today we thought we'd do something slightly different and topical in the UK, and we thought we would invite Theresa May to interview on the show. Now, I tried asking her over Twitter, I went to the government site, I tried to reach out to someone in their team, but I got no answer. Maybe she's busy. I just don't know. So what I'm going to do today is, anticipating this might have happened, is I'm going to do what no other broadcaster has done. And I'm going to interview Theresa May and the empty chair. Now, the things I'm going to talk to Theresa today about are issues that affect every business owner or sales professional in the UK. And what we're going to try and get is see what responses that she has to the questions that I think she can answer to. So let's get cracking. So Theresa, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It's really great to have you here. And I know you're a busy lady. And so just thank you very much. Well, it's a pleasure having you on the show, and I know you're very excited about showing us why you're a strong and stable leader. So let's get on to the first topic of this, is that obviously we've got a lot of business owners and sales professionals on this show, and all of them every day get involved in negotiations. And I figure that you are about to embark in the mother of negotiations. There's not going to be many big negotiations bigger than this. So I just wanted to ask your advice and just to see whether you'd be willing to share some of your insights. Yes, I see how a strong and stable approach to leadership will be good for negotiations, but maybe we can expand on that a little bit. Now, at the moment, the way you and the European Union are playing the negotiation is classic negotiation strategy. Lots of talk of red lines, both sides looking to walk away. You know, it's sort of like, it's a textbook, sort of like how to conduct a negotiation back in the 1980s. Now, I'm not sure if you've read this book here by Stuart Diamond. He's one of the world's leading experts on negotiations, and what he's credited with ending the writers' strike, which enabled the TV programs to be made that kept us entertained on Saturday nights. And he talks about a few things that you could maybe think about when it comes to negotiations. Now, he talks about the lowest level of negotiation being where you're forcing people to do what you want them to do. You're trying to impose your will on the other side, and the challenge is that I'm not sure the UK's got that much power, because obviously you're sitting in front of 5 presidents. It's more likely to be like you standing on the stage and Simon Cowell, David Williams, and the other judges on Britain's Got Talent just sitting there waiting to veto. So I guess that way, which is what you're going at the moment, may not work the best. The second technique is thinking about, are you getting them to think what you think? And this may be somewhere where you can begin to help them understand why we're thinking the way we're thinking. Oh, right. So you think that we need strong and stable leadership. So only strong and stable leadership is going to be able to help us understand, get them to understand what they think. Right. Okay, that's a good one. So moving on to the third and the fourth one, is the third level of negotiations, where it's much more about changing their perceptions. You know, it's really about getting people to perceive what you want them to perceive. So what's your strategy to help the European Union perceive our perspective in the upcoming negotiations? Right. So what you're saying is that if there's a stable government and strong leadership, we'll be able to provide the mandate to the European Union. Right. Okay. I see that. Thanks. And lastly, and this is where I think we might have trouble, is that the best level of negotiations that Stuart Diamond talks about is really about getting people to feel what you want them to feel. my concern is that I'm not sure we're demonstrating enough understanding of them and their needs for us to really get them to feel how we're feeling as a nation. Have you got any thoughts on that, Theresa? Right. So what you're telling me is that with a strong and stable leadership, that you can make the difference and hopefully get them to see our point of view. Well, I'm not sure it's the most progressive approach in the world, but I do appreciate your views on the upcoming negotiation. The second thing that I want to talk about is that obviously the thing that's closest to most sales professionals' heart and business owners is compensation. And as CEO of the UK business, is that you're responsible for over 2 million salespeople's motivation and 5.5 million small business owners' motivations. And so obviously you're in charge of compensation through ultimately how you tax everybody else. And so what I was going to ask is the fact that obviously UK PLC has changed that compensation plan quite a lot over the last few years, and I'm just wondering, just going to get your opinion on how you intend to remotivate those individuals. So let me give you an example. So the top 10% of earners in the UK currently pay 27% of all tax. And those that are between 20 and 40% pay an additional 40% of all tax. So the question for you is, Theresa, through your current taxation policies, you seem to be hitting those that are in the middle classes more than everybody else. Have you got any thoughts about that? Right. Okay. So strong and stable leadership is what's needed to guide us through these tricky times. Because the reason I'm saying that is obviously you've significantly changed how dividends are taxed, which may well be a disincentive to those that want to start business. You've also changed how you tax buy-to-let. So those people that do save, you're now making it harder for them to save money. Now, I appreciate there's a housing crisis on, but could have there been another way to do that and tax property that disincentivizes or changes the way we buy property? Okay, strong and stable again, right? Okay, so I guess we'll leave that one. But I guess remember, you're in charge of everyone's motivation. So I'd encourage you to think about how you're going to inspire people to want to go out and sell more and build businesses. Because ultimately, in Brexit, we're a global nation now, and we've got to go out and sell to the world if we're to succeed. So I guess I'll leave that one with you. The next thing I wanted to think about is that this is one of my favorite leadership books of all time by Goffey and Jones, and it's Why Should Anyone Be Led by You? And so what's great about this book is that it, in the main, just talks about being authentic. And what it means by being authentic is just like, do people believe you're a normal human being? And so what I've observed is that you use the word strong and stable a lot, and that would make me feel that it's probably words that were put together by a spin doctor rather than something that you believe yourself. So the question for you, Theresa, is why should anyone be led by you? Theresa, we've got a problem here. Like, I asked for an authentic response. And strong and stable doesn't need to be as part of the answer. And you're a bit like, it's starting to sound a bit like Darth Vader when he talks in Empire Strikes Back about the power of the dark side. And so what I want you to do is just think back to when you were Theresa Brazier, okay, the vicar's daughter that had a passion for going into politics because you thought you could make this country a better place. I want you to think back to when you first went into Parliament and were responsible for education, women and disabilities in the shadow cabinet, and just draw out from your heart, from a real person's perspective, why should anybody be led by you? Please. Theresa, look, we've got to be able to do something. So I mean, this really is like Darth Vader, because I can feel the good. I can feel the good inside you, you know, and I know part of you saying Theresa Brazier is dead. Only Theresa May exists. But I believe there is good inside you. I believe that there is an authentic leader inside you. So please, 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 could you answer the question, which is, why should anyone else or anyone be led by you in a meaningful and genuine way? And so we're moving to the end of the interview now, because I appreciate the chair is going to be not particularly exciting for those that are watching. But the last question is that obviously you're reassuringly normal as a prime minister. Obviously, we had David Cameron and Tony Blair, which were the sort of show business celebrities. And I guess the greatest parallel for you from a sort of a pretty normal prime minister would be John Major, and everyone remembers his spitting image caricature, which had him as Mr. Grey. But how we learn after he left office is that he had a bit of a dark side, really, and actually had a bit of an edgy personality, because we learned that after sort of Parliament closed, he always liked a little bit of curry. And I'm just wondering, what's your dark side that we're going to find out in the years to come? Oh, you don't want to share that? You're going to leave it for a surprise? Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much for not coming on the show today. I think it's been really educational from my perspective to know that other than saying you've got a strong and stable leadership, you haven't really got a lot of ideas to offer. But you know what? It's not like there's a lot of change going on in the world, and it's not like we're potentially going through significant change. So I'm inspired and motivated by the authenticity of your responses. So just a reminder, these are two great books, Stuart Diamond, Getting More, and Why Should Anyone Be Led by You? Both of these should be on your Christmas list. So I'm going to say thank you very much. Good luck in the election. And I'm sure you and Corbyn will make a great team, and maybe add in a bit of Sturgeon. And between you, the UK could not be in better hands with the potential leaders that we've got. Thanks a lot, Theresa. Take care. Goodbye.